आज बिजनेस ऑफ बॉलीवुड में जब फटा पोस्टर तो निकला हीरो और उनके साथ हीरोइन भी. We're talking about the very entertaining Shahid Kapoor and the lovely Ileana D'Cruz. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I need to understand what the genre is of the film because कहीं पर लगता है out and out action है, कहीं पर लगता है out and out comedy है, तो ये क्या है?
I can tell you.
तू बोलो.
It's an out and out Rajkumar Santoshi film.
Okay, now you explain that.
Well, because there's no genre as far as he's concerned.
Wow.
Genius.
She will explain it to you.
No, further. No genre means
Well,
still a
because
genre.
there is romance, there is comedy, so you can't say it's rom-com only because there's action also, there's drama, there's entertainment.
But is there like lots of this action comedy वाला जो आजकल एक दौर चला हुआ है, this new trend which is also called that sort of a mass hit kind of a trend. तो ये कुछ उस तरह की फिल्म है? Maybe a bit more
Yeah,
safe
not
play?
true now because so many mass films, a lot of films that have done so much business are not like the last film, Ye Jawani Hai Diwani did so well, and it's technically a romantic comedy. It's not really an action. So I think good films do well. And yes, this is a film which is an entertainer. Yes, this is a film which is the purpose of the film is to make you laugh, make you enjoy yourself, and have a really fun time. Raji is somebody who's I feel done some iconic work in this space, like films like Andaz Apna Apna will always be remembered. I think everybody remembers that film as something which it's almost like a cult film now. So what you're saying is actually all there in the film. It's a film where the hero will make a very heroic action entry and come in and maro one cheesy, typical dialogue,
Corny
which is
line.
one of those typical hero wala lines. But there'll be an off take on it. Like even that line in the promo where he says ke माँ का दूध पिया है तो एक एक करके. You know that the line supposed to be said is एक एक करके आना, but he says एक एक करके मत आना, सब साथ में आना, मेरे पास time नहीं है. So you know there'll always be a flip to that. And actually the film is about a guy who thinks that he is like a hero and he wants to be an actor. So everything in his life is very filmy, the way he will enter a scene and he will break stuff and enter, but dramatic, and then he will make a fool of himself and then he will be crying like how you see in the promo where he's trying to get out of the situation. In fact, there's one dialogue which Ileana also has in the promo where she says के आपको fighting से डर लगता है क्या? And he says नहीं fighting से डर नहीं लगता, लेकिन अगर face पे चोट लग गई तो career शुरू से पहले खत्म हो जाएगा. And she thinks he's a cop when actually he's just a struggling actor and he's a fake cop. So that's the tone of the film. I mean, you'll see these very loud, in-your-face moments followed up by really stupid, funny moments.
And you cannot miss him pole dancing in the film.
Woohoo! Tell
You really
me
like me
more.
doing that, don't lie.
अभी अगर पोल होता तो आपसे कुछ करवाते? I don't think इस पे चलेगा.
आप पोल ले आइए फिर आप देखिए मैं क्या करता हूँ.
ये शो गलत हो गया.
दो लड़कियाँ यहाँ पे और पोल डांस मैं करूँ. Really?
Times have changed, my friend.
Oh,
that's how it is.
यूनिफॉर्म लाओ, यूनिफॉर्म में नाचूंगा मैं.
But इस जो आप बोल रहे हैं typically Raji वाले genre में जो mini genres हैं like the action and the comedy and other bits, इसमें बहुत scope होता है OTT जाने का, especially the kind of dialogues you're telling me or the kind of feel of it.
Yes,
तो कैसे पता चलता है कि कहाँ overboard नहीं जाना है, because this is where you can go wrong.
That's why you have Mr. Raj Santoshi.
So you just are you those actors completely अपने आप को surrender कर दिया directors के हाथ में?
Actually, I think I did pretty much. And he's also very open to suggestions. I mean, he's not the sort of person who's very close, but at the end of the day, he will take his call. But he's very sure of what he wants. And I think like what Shahid said earlier is that we'd always wait for people to laugh when we've done a shot, so we know we're sort of getting it right. I mean, you know when you're definitely going over the top because there's so many people on set. There is someone bound to tell you whether you're sort of going overboard or not. We're actually praying we haven't, but I don't think we have.
No, Raji was very straight up about it. When you do a shot and you don't like it, cut. अच्छा नहीं था.
Feeling, no feeling. I didn't get that feeling.
Yeah, he's
so,
very straight up about it.
Yeah.
So no diplomatic way
No,
of doing
absolutely
this.
No,
Very
he's
in,
not.
in your face.
Very, very in your face.
Yeah, very in your face.
And how did you make a choice like that after Barfi? Because that kind of puts you in a very different league, and then you do something that's so different. So वो choice जब की तो कितना
Sorry,
मुश्किल
I
था?
love your accent. You've got a beautiful accent. Anyway,
thank you.
it's very distracting.
Why the look?
It's a really nice accent.
Thanks.
Stop getting
Why
weird
the
thoughts.
No, she's so observant that she observed
I am.
your
You should
accent.
See,
No,
normally
me.
women don't compliment.
हाँ
So
मतलब
she's
इसने
probably
आज
the
तक मेरे
first
को
who's
पूरी
ever
पिक्चर
said
में एक
that.
कॉम्प्लीमेंट
have
दिया
a
नहीं है,
lovely
तेरे से
accent.
मिलते ही कॉम्प्लीमेंट दे रही है तो थोड़ी जेलसी हो
Bonding. हमने शॉपिंग की बात पे जो शुरू की
हाँ
थी.
स्टिलेटोज
Totally.
और टैटूज के बारे में बात हुई थी. We'll not get into the details.
Yeah, so the choice of the film.
It was a conscious choice. I did, in fact, Anurag told me after Barfi, before Barfi released, he told me, he's like, make sure you don't get stuck in that character, you're being a serious actor because, you know, you have done commercial films. In fact, Barfi was pretty much my first film that had that much potential, you know, to perform. So I did want to do something commercial. I wanted to be something completely different. So this seemed like the right film because when Raji called me over for narration, I laughed so hard. I was like, this is definitely a film that I should do. And it's a fun role. It was a challenge for sure. So
I heard you saying he's very animated when he narrates.
incredibly animated. Oh
He
my
can make
goodness.
faces which nobody can make. In fact, I'm going to make Raji do that. You remember that horse thing that he does? He makes his
How does it
horse
go?
face. He makes his horse face. You need a pen for that, and you need
What's a
his
horse
and you
face?
need his eyes for that.
Well, if you
It's like
see
when there's
Raji-
yeah. Tell me.
Only Raji can do that basically.
When a horse is like when you're trying to control
when you
the
pull on
horse.
the reins
So
of the
first
horse.
when the horse is chilled out, what his expression is, like he's just going la 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 la, and then when you start pulling the reins on him, how his expression changes and he goes la 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 la. You really have to see him do it.
Only if the horse had something to do with you, only then he'd go like that. Only a dancer horse can do that. I don't know what that was.
Have this discussion with Raji. When you see him do it, you will buy the
have
story.
to- you actually will. He can totally
But when
sell
he's
it to you.
narrating, you obviously can't say, "Cut, ye acha nahi laga." You just
Bilkul
go by
nahi,
what he
because
has
there's
to say.
nothing that you can't like about it. He makes you fall in love with the story somehow or the other. He's so into it, he's so involved, and he believes in it so much that, I mean, I don't know, he really sells it to you. And
Actually, his narrations were the high point of the film for me. I mean, I had the
course,
most
yeah.
fun while hearing him narrate because he just, he gives you the entire film and he performs the entire film for you and he's so animated.
We lose track of time when
Yeah,
he narrates.
absolutely,
It was
absolutely.
3 hours, 3.5 hours,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
4
I'm sure.
hours.
And there was like a 1 hour food break
Yeah,
also
1
because
hour
he loves
food
food.
break.
Considering we don't have that kind of time,
Yeah.
but you very quickly tell us about your characters.
She is unbelievably vivacious and bubbly, and I believe that Kajal is the kind of girl who believes that she can take on the world and take on the problems in the world, and she sort of wants to make a difference, like genuinely wants to make a difference, but she sort of is going about it in a strange comedic way, and she bumps into him. And him, as you know, I mean, he's playing a wannabe actor, so
But you
she
think he's a
mistakes him as a cop, and she's very sincere and determined about this. So she even asks him, she's like, "Are you scared of fighting?" And when he says that, "No, I'm afraid my face will get spoiled," and I was like, "Huh?" So it's funny. It's this insane ride of misunderstandings, and it's really comical. So that's what my character is pretty much about. His
And
is a
you're
roller
Vishwas,
coaster.
aren't you? What's
Vishwas
your-
Rao.
Vishwas.
Vishwas Rao.
Vishwas Rao is somebody who lives his life large, like a
जिसपे
movie screen.
विश्वास नहीं किया जा सकता basically.
बिल्कुल विश्वास नहीं करना चाहिए उसके ऊपर बिल्कुल भी नहीं. Lying to his mother, lying to the heroine, probably lying to himself at various points in the film.
Completely.
Yeah. He is this dude who is from a small town. He's a Marathi boy from a small town, and his mother wants him to be a honest cop, and he wants to be an actor. So the whole film is about how he lies to his mother and comes to Bombay saying that I'm actually going to give like one of those exams that you give to get in the police and all that. And actually he's coming to audition and stuff. Because of which this entire
Scenario takes
scenario
place.
of him being mistaken as a cop arrives and the heroine always sees him like a cop and he always messes up every possible situation, although he thinks he's going to handle it very well because he makes this dramatic entry every time and he'll maro these 4 one-liners every time, and the next thing you'll see him will crying and howling and trying to get out of the situation he's gotten himself into. So an extremely animated, extremely weirdly heroic and comical at the same time.
It's extremely entertaining.
It
is
was
what
very
it is.
difficult. I felt that my character is schizophrenic in some points because he's laughing 1 second, and the next second he's howling, and the next second he's bashing people, and the next second he's emotional. And so it's one of those kind of characters where he's always up to something in the movie. But that's what makes it all that fun, and that's what makes him, for me, he was just this thing which I wanted to understand. How am I going to get this character in my control? How am I going to get this guy to be one person, because he's
that's
actually
the
a lot of
thing.
people,
About Vishwas. I mean,
Yeah.
he's never in control.
Yeah, but what I'm
And
trying to say is that
that's
how
what
do you bring
going-
semblance to a character which has
I don't know, I mean-
so much
Multifaceted.
happening with it's too much. He's got too much
You
happening
can't
with
put
him.
one thing down as
Yeah.
Vishwas is this.
Yeah, so
You can't.
Yeah, eventually I just settled with copying Raji. That was the best solution.
It was.
Well, when you have successful films, how do you sustain that? Is there ever a pressure कि हमने ये किया था, अब लोगों की expectation है और अब हमें इस track पे चलना है? For example, after Barfi, was there a pressure on you कि अब मैं जो भी choose करूँगी, it has to be just right?
It's odd, I mean, it's really strange. I mean, people have asked me, especially because the films I've done in the South, they were like, "Oh, would you have preferred not entering, you know, the industry with a hit. I'm like, you can't say that. You don't know.
Why would anybody
because-
expect otherwise? Yeah.
No, because the thing is, then, you know, if you haven't got a hit, then there's no expectations. You get what I'm saying?
So you take
if you
it
end
slow.
up giving a hit, you're like, oh, okay. So this was like, I don't know. I think no one expected, none of us from the crew at least expected Barfi to be a hit. So when it did become a hit, we were like, what the hell happened? But with this film, again, you never know. At least with me, I'm incredibly pessimistic. I will never know whether it's going to be a hit or not. I just know that I kind of try and give it my best. I really do hope I do. And it's come out really well. It's funny. I mean, even when I was dubbing for the film, I remember laughing at one point.
You messaged me on
I messaged him saying, I'm laughing so hard, you know, watching the scenes. So I think it's come out really well. And it's a good sign when you as an actor have done the scene and watching it again, you start laughing. So, touch wood. Hopefully it's a good sign.
शायद आपकी क्या strategy है? After a Jab We Met and a Kameene, बहुत expectations रहती हैं. How does the box office success or failure bother you in any way, or does it give you the extra high? What's the strategy?
The reason why everybody becomes an actor, I feel, at least that's true for me and for whatever friends I have who are actors, is you want somebody to sit there and clap for you after you've given a performance, right?
Appreciation.
You want acceptance from whoever you're performing for. You can't just perform for yourself. So everybody wants their film to be appreciated. Everybody wants their work to be appreciated. And I think we're in a time today where if the film is not successful, the work doesn't get noticed. So it's extremely crucial and extremely important for a film to get accepted at the box office and for people to like it and talk about it. Because there's so many films right now that, you know, only the films that are successful are talked about. Everything else just gets forgotten.
I think, sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but it's also about being convincing, right? I mean, you've got to be convincing enough as an actor.
Yeah, I mean...
So, I mean, as your role, whatever that you're playing, as long as people are convinced is when it's really, you sort of take them on the ride then.
Also, like they say, we have smarter audience now. I
We
don't know
do.
why they say it this way, but
Probably.
that's what is the bit.
Maybe because they
we can
expect
tell
more. Maybe
कि
the
ज़्यादा हो रहा है
expectations
या
are
over the
more.
top जा रहा है या expectation ज़्यादा बढ़ गई है, इसलिए मेहनत आपकी भी ज़्यादा हो गई है.
I think patience
Films
levels
changed
are
as well.
less. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true. Very true.
Yeah,
It has.
patience levels are less. I think people do not want to see films which are depressing. I think everybody's dealing with their own issues and their own problems. So it's great to make films which are poignant, and it's great to make films which are relevant. But you need to do that while you entertain the audience. You cannot make a film which is just about your own issues with life or things like that. You need to make films which you know are going to engross the audience, and they're not going to walk out with a headache. Even though they loved the film, they'll be like, dude, it's too depressing, I can't see it.
Exactly.
You know, so you can't make movies like that. So you need to make all kinds of films, and it's a great time. We're in a time where all kinds of filmmakers are making all kinds of films. I remember when I debuted in 2003, which is 10 years back, a newcomer debuting was like, that never happened. It used to not happen. It used to happen once in 10 years, a newcomer used to come in. And now there are like 6 or 7 newcomers every year with films, and you know, when the awards are happening, you hear their names and nominations, and so many of them have started off so well. So it's a time where a lot of stuff is happening, and I think the only strategy that you can have is to go with your heart. I cannot do a film if I don't truly love having heard it. I cannot do a film logically if somebody tells me this is the right move for you to make right now, because you know 90 days or 100 days of your time is invested in a film, and you really need to passionately believe in it to do it. You cannot just do a film because somebody tells you it's the right move for you. So I have always made my decisions like that. I've made some really good decisions and some disastrous decisions, and I'm learning from each one of them. But the one thing that's most important to me is when I finish hearing that film, I should be dying to do that role, and I should be dying to be a part of that film. It's very important.
But as actors, does that make it very hard then to either play safe, make that choice, or then to take risks? Because you've got to keep regularly reinventing yourselves as well. So how do you make that choice?
I don't know. I completely relate with what he's saying. I mean, when you have that feeling of really wanting to do the film, it's great. It gives you that high, really. But it's funny because when I signed Barfi, I took a very long time to do it, to do the signing thing, because I was like, should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do the commercial film? I don't even get the boy in the end. Should I do it? I mean, you know, you
Very
think
important
about,
that is.
Well, it is in these kind of films. I mean, you know, so it was challenging. I had so many thoughts at that point, and I used to annoy Dada to the point I was
But
like,
you're a Scorpion, you
know,
anyways have too many thoughts.
Yeah.
That's a personality type.
Plus I'm OCD. I'm very particular about
She is
everything.
OCD,
that's where
boss.
you come
If there
in.
is one white thread on my navy shirt, she will find it and she will look at it with this expression, and she'll be like, can you just, please, just remove that.
Well, it stands out.
Maybe
In
we
the
should
middle
talk
of
to
a
your
shot,
costume
I've had her
department
come
and
to
see how
me
they
like this
handle
and
that.
remove something like this and say, "There's this black thing or there's this." Who does that?
It's a habit. I'm sorry. It
Who does that?
Well, if
Ileana.
that's the kind of habit that can get her awards, then why not? She's looking good, she performs
There
great,
you
and she takes
go.
awards home.
Oh, these girls have bonded to the next level right now. I'm not
Yeah,
even in this
totally.
room.
We're going
right
shopping
now.
after.
I'm not even
while
in
you
this room.
while you're promoting still.
Fine. I'll promote the film alone.
We're talking about appreciation that you were saying.
Yeah,
Awards
some
obviously is a
appreciation,
great
come on.
form of
It
that.
is. Yeah, it is. It definitely is. It's not something that as an actor you should really be, looking forward to. Of course, it's really great. I'd be lying if I said like, oh, it's okay if you get an award. No, it's great if you do. But I think if you've got this notion of, I have to get an award, only then I will be appreciated. That's when it sort of wears off, and then you're not really focusing on the main thing here. That's the film. But I don't know. I've sort of given my best in every film that I've done, and that's been my point. And it's worked sometimes. Sometimes it hasn't worked. I go by my gut. If I feel that I really should do the film, I do it.
But आपके लिए
So-
कुछ change हुआ South में after you got appreciation from Indian
I mean, the way
Bollywood, in
the
fact.
way of making films here is completely different from the way we do films in the South. It's a longer process here. They wrap up films a lot faster there.
Really fast.
Like really
I've worked
fast.
with so many people who are from the South industry in the last 6 months.
Yeah, Prabhu.
They are so fast. They do not let you sit. They do not let you eat. You just work.
You just work.
And they do so much work. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I mean, a 6 o'clock call time is a 6 o'clock call time.
Total respect. Like, I have so much respect for them.
Is that the kind of stuff you think should happen here as well?
I don't.
Like a lot of work.
Yeah, and then you should go on a 2-month holiday.
I was wondering because you don't seem all that excited about
kind
a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work and then just a lot of party.
As long as you know, and your fitness time. How can we forget that?
Yeah, but
Fitness
they are very
freak.
good with time. Like, if you tell them I'll come at 7, they'll let you go at 7. You know what I'm saying?
it-
Like, they're very good with time like that.
आपके लिए कितने मायने रखते हैं awards?
मेरे लिए awards बहुत मायने. You suddenly got into this Hindi zone, so
I
I was like
always
flipped
remember
into this
because I know
whole,
it's gonna
मेरे
come
लिए
saying
जो
बहुत English हो
awards
रहा है.
मायने रखते हैं. You know, what she's saying is absolutely right. You cannot work, you cannot give a performance thinking कि इसके लिए मेरे को award मिलेगा. You give the best performance and the most honest performance that you can give, and what's most important is for people to like it. And I think if people like it enough, it automatically leads to you getting appreciation in terms of awards or in different ways. Because I think everybody in this industry recognizes that when the audience loves a film, there's nothing stronger than that. So you need to work towards doing films which are loved by the audience. That will naturally lead to you getting awards, and that cannot be the criteria. That's a byproduct of good work.
Although it is great to
Fab.
get awards. Yeah.
I think she already wants one for Phata Poster. You know? Putting that in, feelers out there. This whole
No, I
con-
just love to look at them. Sorry. I'm being very vain, but I do. It's really nice to look
Too
at
bad
them.
we can't get them in malls, right? ये वाला देना? That looks really good.
I know, very, very, very vain, but honestly,
This whole quantity versus...
So you go back home every time.
I do. I have a nice shelf and I stare at them.
Have a little conversation with them.
Yeah.
You
Make
know.
them feel important.
We're not overboard. Come on. Not that vain.
Just a bit of OCD, not overboard.
Just a bit.
What if there's some?
Take a little care in
What
wiping
if there's
the
some
shelf.
dirt on an award? or
A
something?
black
What will you
thread.
do?
I scrub
What will
them.
you do?
I scrub them
Yeah,
with
she
two
scrub.
separate cloths.
Why
Wait.
two?
Because one's a wet one, one's a dry one.
Don't ask questions that you don't want the answers to, really.
Exactly.
No, you can. It's kind of
You
fun
can't be
hearing it.
surprised with
I'm
me
done.
now. Come on. You can't.
Getting back to Phata Poster Nikla Hero.
Exactly.
Talking about quantity versus quality bit, बहुत सारी फिल्म्स हमने नहीं देखी हैं आपकी. चुन के आप फिल्म्स करते हैं. Aren't you worried कि contemporaries हैं? जैसे आपने कहा हर साल 7 हीरोज आ रहे हैं और
नहीं,
तो
मैं अभी
कहीं ना
साल
कहीं
में 3 फिल्में करूँगा. This is my promise to myself and to everybody. And I will do it. I've done 2 already. I need to do 1 more. But I will do 3 films a year because I realized I hate sitting at home. 90% of my life is driven by me being an actor. That's what I love doing. I'm happiest when I'm on set. And I feel like a total good for nothing when I'm not acting because I think that's the only thing that I know how to do. So simply for those reasons, I would want to do more
I
films.
have
And
got
that's the
messages
promise.
from him saying, I'm so bored sitting at home. When are we going to start shooting
Whoa,
again?
whoa, if you're bored, call me, dude. What is this? I'll come to your building for another reason now and visit you instead. But, and very quickly, future projects, what are we doing? Apart from the second?
Okay. Well, I'm doing a film with Varun. I'm also doing a film with Seth. It's called Happy Ending. Raj and DK directing it, and
What's it called?
Happy Ending.
Okay. Does it have happy ending?
You'll see.
Okay.
Tricky one, that is.
Yeah.
What about you?
So there's Phata Poster and then there's Rambo Rajkumar. I'm shooting for
Dohi.
both of them. Both of them are going to come out this year. Third one is on its way. I promise.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys,
Thank
for
you.
talking to us
Thank
on
you.
Business of Bollywood.
Thank
Very
you.
entertaining. I
Thank
can
you
only
very
hope the
much.
film will be even more entertaining than this. So good luck.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Pleasure.